really looks right.
You got a big fish, so you're gonna be a while.
Okay.
Oh my God! Jackson, you see that?
Hey guys, Alex here with Sweeney Sports and Catch Happy. Today I'm gonna go through my rods and figure out what we can't use anymore because they closed Sturgeon. Sturgeon is now closed. You cannot fish for it. So I have to go through some of my Phoenixes and say, okay, this is a nice 805, really good rod. Trash, not gonna work. 809, yeah, we can use 809 for like rockfish and stuff like that. Okay, we'll keep that around. Another 805 in beautiful purple, trash. Another 805 in yellow, trash. But wait, maybe there's a way. Can I have those back? Maybe there's a way to still use these for a fish that is almost as much fun to catch. They're huge and they're everywhere and there's zero regs on them. Are you guessing what I'm talking about? Let's go back to the studio and I'll talk you through what that fish is like, how to target them, and I guarantee you would love it once you have one on the end of your sturgeon gear rigs.
Second line. Gotta keep them tight. Ooh, big,
Nice.
big head shakes.
So if you fish for sturgeon, you probably already know this. But let me refresh this for you. So as of July 12th, sturgeon fishing has been closed by Fish and Game Commission as they're investigating if the fish needs to be listed on California endangered species. And if that's the case, right now they get full protection as the investigation evaluation proceeds, but right now they get full protection, meaning no fishing for sturgeon, no catch and release, nothing. A lot of us sturgeon fishermen, a lot of our customers here at Sweeney Sports invested a lot in sturgeon gear. And right now, it's kind of useless. Sure, you can go probably do some tuna fishing with it, okay, like yellowtail, something like that. But how often do you go out for tuna? You got to go 40, 50, 60 miles out. You might get a charter once a year. I don't know. Maybe you own a boat. You can reuse that gear. But for most of us who bank fish or boat fish for sturgeon, going out for tuna 6, 7 times a year is not, that's not what we're going to do. For ground fish like, I don't know, rockfish and lingcod, this is a little too whippy. It's too whippy. Sturgeon needed that flexible tip and a strong back handle, just so you can kind of work them out, but at the same time that rod gets bent quite a bit and we want it that way. And so it's kind of not really that useful for 50 plus fathom ground fish or even deeper. Rockfish and lingcod included. Halibut? No, that's an overkill. You don't want this rod for halibut. I mean, then you're just roping them in. So what are you going to do with all your sturgeon gear that you've already purchased? Well, I have an idea for you. Take a look.
I'm gaining on him.
Gaining some ground. Should see him here in a second.
You see color?
There he is.
I see mud.
Oh.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about carp. I know I might get some hate mail on this, as people consider this a trash fish. But just think about the way that fish behaves. It's very similar to sturgeon. In fact, the reason why I feel like I've got my sturgeon fishing chops is because I was a carp fisherman way before that when I was a kid and all the way through my adulthood. I'm, in my mid-40s and I love fishing for carp. Let me explain why. That fish has the same sucker mouth as sturgeon. The feeding patterns are very similar. You just go and vacuum the bottom for food. And yeah, it's not an aggressive fish where you get to stand there on the bow of your boat and keep throwing lures. It's not that. It's not bass. But it is very similar to sturgeon in its behavior and the fishing style. Going out with a family, with friends, onto the bank, and setting up your carp fishing rigs and hearing that bell ring and then fighting potentially a 20, 28, 30-pound carp, they are strong fish. They fight. Even a 6-pound carp would feel amazing on this reel. 10-pound, whatever, as you saw in the video that I showed you earlier. It's incredible. Same thing with this Rockaway, Akuma Rockaway. It's a less expensive rig, but a really nice eliminator reel on this thing with 8,000 size, all spooled up with braid. What am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to set it up for carp, and I'm going to show you exactly how to catch them and how to have a lot of fun doing it. So let's start with where. Where is very simple. Pretty much any lake, stream, or river, even here in Napa River, right around downtown area where the water is less brackish, you can find carp. I haven't targeted them here, but I will. I'm going to do the video on this and publish it at some point in the future. But just suffice to say, just about any lake that is not elevated too high up holds carp. And the way to catch them is using what the Europeans are using. Specifically, I got my carp gear and carp skills from Great Britain, from England. It's a big game fish over there. In fact, it's a big game fish in a lot of European countries. It's a game fish in Asia, and it's a food source for a lot of Asia as well. And if you didn't taste carp meat before, I think you'd be kind of surprised. It tastes really good. The only problem is a lot of bone. But good chefs find their way around it. But let's not talk about using this fish for food. Let's talk about sport. Okay, we're about sport fishing here. So here I have a rig fully set up for carp. And this method I've learned by essentially watching YouTube and reading blog articles for English Great Britain anglers. And the setup is actually pretty simple. It looks simple. It's a little bit tricky to put together. And I'll have another video on exactly how to do that. In fact, I did a little bit of this at Lake New Melones. Take a look.
It's very simple. Remember the mix we made? Now we'll make use of it. So first I'm gonna kind of bundle up So now we're ready to go cast this thing.
Okay, so the concept is, here's your main line coming from the rod. It's going into what's called a method lead. This is a weighted feeder. This one is 25 grams. I'm not sure. Again, it's European, so I have to order it from various places. And by the way, we'll have this all at Sweeney's for you. If you want to try your hand in carp fishing and you're around Napa, come see us. I'll just give you the whole setup. But this is called the method lead. And there's a weight on the bottom and some ribs on top. This is a feeder. You pack it with carp feed. And then there's a small tiny hook. I'll explain why this is good. And then a hair rig, what's called a hair rig, and a pop-up boilie. Let me show it to you close up. This setup does require some tools, and it's still a little tricky to put together, but not too bad. It's a lot of fun for me to prep for a carp fishing trip. But once you have this, then you have to worry about feed or bait. And what I use is cornmeal, corn, strawberry jello, and water to mix it all together. And then I'll use some of the panko crumbs, Italian or whatever flavor you can get your hands on at Safeway. Mix it all together, get it just the right consistency so it stays on the feeder. Pack it in, put the hook, pack it in here. And the idea is when the carp finds this, they smell it very, very good. They'll come around, they'll find this feeder, they'll start feeding on it. And out comes the hook and your pop-up boilie, which is basically a plastic piece of corn, right? In my case, that's what I use all the time. But there's all kinds of different boilies, different flavors to them and all whatnot. Once this pops up, this lays on the bottom like this with this corn raised up, and carp thinks it's corn and they'll just suck it in, get hooked, and bolt like crazy. So they to pick up this lead, and that's what helps you actually get them hooked. Penetrates their lip, okay? You almost never got hooked them. Never got hooked them with this setup. And then it goes right in the lip, and the tip of your rod goes sucking. Absolutely insane. And then your bell rings, then you just put your beer down, run up to your rod, and start fighting. Start fighting that fish. It's a lot of fun. You want to use them for sport, and like I said, the size of carp, anything from couple pounder to 40 pounders, 50 sometimes, can get you on this. Can get on this setup and give you a fight of your life. So there you go. If you want to go fishing a lot more often, use your sturgeon gear, go to any lake and catch big fish, consider fishing for carp. Come to Sweeney Sports. We can get you all set up, or send me a question by comments here, or catchhappy.co.co. So contact, fill out the form. I'm the one reading this. I look forward to hearing back from you. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.